GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, I'm CJ Waterhouse. A severe thunderstorm watch has just been issued for our city, and Environment Canada also has heat warnings rolling across central Canada. Traffic on Autoroute 15 is moving steadily despite lane closures, and the Honoré-Mercier Bridge will soon run one lane. Jeff, what do you make of that?
The Richard Avedon Immortal exhibition opens this Friday at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, featuring over 100 iconic photographs spanning 6 decades of his career.
The show includes never-before-seen portraits of cultural icons, plus interactive stations where visitors can explore Avedon's lighting techniques through digital displays throughout the galleries.
Admission is free on Saturday and Sunday for Montreal residents with a museum card, while standard tickets cost $15 for adults and $10 for seniors.
Lots to get to. Let's begin our lunch break with the Avedon exhibition opening this Friday, free weekend entry for museum card holders, and explore the iconic images together. Good morning, Montreal.
Environment Canada has placed the island under a yellow severe thunderstorm watch as atmospheric patterns this afternoon line up for potentially hazardous weather. Meteorologists note a deepening low-pressure system combined with warm, moist air from the south creates the classic recipe for intense convective activity. The watch signals that wind gusts could exceed 30 kilometers per hour, hail the size of baseballs may develop, and rainfall could become torrential enough to cause localized flooding. Residents are advised to keep windows secured, avoid travel on exposed bridges, and monitor updates from local stations. Public transit operators have already prepared contingency plans for delays on the metro and commuter lines. The agency will maintain the watch until conditions subside, and will upgrade to a red warning only if the storms intensify further. Authorities continue to assess the situation as the storm moves across the island.
Researchers at McGill University have released a new analysis showing that moving toward cleaner transportation could spare thousands of premature deaths in both Montreal and Toronto over the next 20 years. The study links current vehicle emissions to a significant share of the nation's air pollution-related mortality, warning that continued reliance on gasoline-powered cars threatens public health. By expanding electric transit, active travel options, and low-emission vehicles, the model predicts a measurable drop in toxic particulates and a corresponding reduction in heart and lung disease fatalities. Health officials note that the findings underscore the urgency of accelerating climate-friendly mobility policies to protect vulnerable residents. The authors call for coordinated investment in infrastructure and incentives to shift commuter behavior, arguing that the potential lives saved would far outweigh implementation costs in the long term.
The City of Montreal has issued a new tender today to replace the fleet of automated pothole filling machines that have sat idle since the equipment failed last winter. The procurement request calls for modern, self-propelled units capable of detecting and sealing road depressions without manual labor, and it signals the municipality's intent to restart its automated repair program across the island. Since the breakdown, crews have been forced to fill potholes by hand, a process that has stretched maintenance schedules and left many commuters navigating rough surfaces. Officials say the new contract will prioritize durability and rapid deployment, aiming to reduce traffic disruptions during the upcoming summer melt. Bids will be accepted for the next several weeks, and the city plans to begin field testing the first replacements before the end of the season.
Yesterday, SOPFEU announced that the province-wide open-air fire ban has been lifted across most of Quebec. The restriction, which had wrapped nearly the entire province in an effort to curb wildfire risk, will no longer apply in the majority of regions, though limited bans remain in high-risk zones. Officials said the decision follows a sustained period of damp conditions and lower fire danger ratings. Residents in affected areas can now resume backyard grills, campfires, and fireworks provided they follow local safety guidelines. Fire prevention officers will continue patrols and urge people to keep extinguishing tools handy. The agency reminded everyone that isolated hotspots can still spark, and that the remaining restrictions will stay in place until conditions warrant a full reopening. Tourists heading to the lake districts are expected to welcome the change, and local businesses anticipate a boost in outdoor dining and recreation.
Environment Canada has issued extreme heat warnings for parts of the country, spanning Ontario, Quebec, Manitoba, and the Northwest Territories. The agency warns that temperatures are set to climb above norms over the next days, with readings expected to approach or exceed 30 degrees Celsius in many locations. Heat advisories are now in effect for urban centers and rural stretches, prompting health officials to remind residents to stay hydrated, limit outdoor activity during peak afternoon hours, and check on vulnerable neighbors. In Ontario, the alert spans Toronto, Ottawa, and surrounding counties. Quebec's advisory runs from Montreal to the Waterhouse region. Manitoba's warning focuses on Winnipeg and the Red River Valley, and the Northwest Territories notice centers on Yellowknife and nearby areas. The warnings remain active as meteorologists track a high-pressure ridge that is driving heat wave. Authorities will continue to monitor conditions and update the public should the situation evolve.
Later we'll explore how a citizen uncovered a hidden 390-million-year-old meteor crater right here in Quebec, plus more. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, everyone. That was a quick break. Now let's turn it over to Jeff Laflamme for our local stories.
Local amateur cartographer Gilles Lapin uncovered a previously unknown impact site in Quebec's Côte-Nord region after scrutinizing satellite pictures on a popular mapping service. The circular depression, now confirmed as a meteor crater, dates back 390 million years, placing its formation in the early Devonian period. The find, first reported in 2024, marks the first recorded crater of that age in the province. Researchers say the structure escaped earlier surveys because dense forest cover and modest topography concealed its outline. Lapin's observation demonstrates how everyday access to high-resolution imagery can contribute to scientific knowledge, a point of interest for residents who regularly use the same tools for navigation or property searches. The discovery adds a new chapter to the region's geological record without altering daily routines.
Construction crews working on a street in the Ndazhy neighborhood have sealed off a resident's driveway, leaving her vehicle trapped inside her home. The blockage began Monday night when crews started road repairs on the block, and the work continues today, preventing the woman from exiting her property. Neighbors report that the obstruction has halted normal traffic flow and forced several households to find alternate parking or route around the site. City officials have acknowledged the issue, noting the repairs are part of a broader effort to upgrade the street network, but have not given a timeline for restoring driveway access. Local merchants have noted reduced customer traffic as drivers divert around the site, and emergency responders have been advised to use alternate routes. The homeowner remains unable to leave for work or appointments, underscoring how the ongoing construction is disrupting everyday routines for those living along the affected stretch.
Monday afternoon, 2 private colleges in Quebec shut their doors without warning, leaving hundreds of international students without classes or housing. Collège Supérieur de Montréal and its sister campus in SHAI Arbrook both announced an immediate cessation of operations, stranding several hundred students who had arrived from abroad to study. The abrupt closures left students scrambling for accommodation and academic alternatives, with many reporting that they were suddenly evicted from dormitories and left with tuition fees already paid. Administrators of both institutions have not provided a clear timeline for refunds or transfer options, prompting uncertainty for families overseas. Local authorities confirmed the shutdowns were legal, but noted the institutions had not filed the required notice. The situation leaves foreign learners who depend on private schools for both education and residence in a vulnerable position.
Construction crews will begin extensive summer repairs on the Honoré-Mercier Bridge on July 17th, keeping traffic to a single lane in each direction through August 3rd. The Quebec Ministry of Transport says the reduction will force commuters to share one lane both ways, a change expected to create heavy bottlenecks along the main link between the island and the South Shore. Drivers should anticipate longer travel times, especially during rush hour, as the bridge serves thousands of daily commuters. The ministry warned that the lane reduction will cause significant congestion, especially for commuters heading to the South Shore. Transit agencies are adding extra service on nearby routes. Work crews will operate around the clock to finish within the scheduled window, aiming to restore full capacity by early August. Motorists are urged to stay patient as the project progresses.
Federal officials in Ottawa announced a commitment of $71 million to strengthen youth mental health services across Quebec. The allocation, slated for release this week, aims to expand programs that address the growing complexity of psychological challenges faced by young people, including the impacts of housing and food insecurity. Frontline clinicians have reported that cases are becoming more layered, prompting the government to act now. The funding will be directed to community clinics, school-based counseling and crisis response teams, with an emphasis on early intervention and culturally appropriate care. By bolstering capacity, the initiative seeks to reduce wait times and improve outcomes for adolescents and young adults. Officials indicated that the money will be dispersed through existing provincial health structures, ensuring rapid deployment to areas of greatest need. Implementation is planned to begin in the fall, with the first wave of services expected to reach schools by early October.
Now let's turn to the forecast and see what the skies have in store this afternoon.
A fast-moving jet stream from the northwest is dragging an unsettled low that will spark midday drizzle. On this date, the all-time high for Montreal sits at 31.1 degrees Celsius, recorded in 2013 during a sweeping heat wave that pushed temperatures across southern Quebec into the mid-30s. The record low is 13.6 degrees, set in 2017, when an anomalous Arctic surge plunged the city into a brief freeze despite typical summer warmth. Normal July highs hover around 27 degrees and lows near 21, so even today's projected 35-degree peak feels well above the climatological norm. The radar shows a narrow band of light drizzle hugging the St. Lawrence corridor right now, sliding eastward at roughly 15 kilometers per hour. Echoes are strongest just west of the island, and the pulse will sweep across downtown by 10 minutes past noon, fading out by early afternoon as the moisture source is pulled downstream by northwest jet. The rest of the map remains clear, confirming the dry, stable air mass that dominates surrounding provinces. At noon, the city feels 27 degrees under a partly cloudy sky, humidity hovering around 67%, and a southwest breeze at 17 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 45. Pressure is falling, signaling an unsettled low that the northwest jet stream is pushing eastward at 76 kilometers per hour, which explains the brief drizzle expected right now. After the drizzle clears, sunshine will dominate, pushing temperatures toward 35 by late afternoon. The UV index reads 6 and wind will peak at 28 kilometers per hour from the west, enough to feel a noticeable breeze. A severe thunderstorm watch blankets the island and surrounding municipalities, and tornado watches are active for several outlying areas. With the low moving out, the sky will stay clear for the evening, setting the stage for the 5-day outlook. Wednesday brings a dry high of 31 and a low near 20, with clear skies persisting across the island. Thursday's warmth eases to 26, but a 30% chance of rain sneaks in from the west, hinting at a lingering frontal boundary. Friday turns cooler, high 25 and low 15, and cloud cover will dominate the day, setting up a damp start to the weekend. Saturday repeats a high of 25 with a low of 16, but a 50% rain probability brings light showers that could linger into the evening. Sunday rebounds to a high of 25 and a low of 16 under mostly clear conditions, offering a brief respite before the next system arrives. Overall, the week swings between warm highs and modest cooling, with rain chances concentrated midweek and early weekend. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Autoroute 15 lane closures slow traffic, the Roses lift a win, and Steve's music store bids farewell. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Metro Line 2 is running reduced service between Jean Talon and Montmorency as crews work on signal equipment. Trains terminate at Jean Talon and resume at Montmorency, adding a 5-minute wait for riders heading downtown. On the road, a minor collision on Autoroute 15 northbound near Exit 12 is causing 5 to 10-minute delays, but traffic remains fluid elsewhere, a reprieve for commuters. Downtown, one lane is closed on Rue Saint-Denis between Rue Saint-Paul and Rue Saint-Catherine, and another lane on Rue Saint-Urbain near Rue Saint-Denis for utility work. Drivers should expect slower traffic on those corridors. Speed is limited to 30 kilometers per hour on Boulevard René Lévesque eastbound between Rue Saint-Laurent and Rue Saint-Urbain. On the bus side, STM Bus 55 detours via Rue Saint-Laurent and EXO Bus 90 detours via Rue Saint-Pierre because of bridge maintenance on Route 132. Vaudreuil Hudson Line trains are experiencing delays from a signal issue, with service expected to normalize later this afternoon.
The Pan American Canoe Sprint and Paracano Championships are underway today at the Olympic Basin on Parc Jean-Drapeau, marking the 50th anniversary of the 1976 Olympic venue. If you love high-speed water action, this is a chance to see world-class athletes racing under the summer sun. Across the river, Cirque du Soleil presents Echo under a blue and white big top at the Old Port. The contemporary circus blends acrobatics, poetry, and technology, offering a fresh, immersive experience for families and thrill-seekers alike. Looking ahead, the Just for Laughs festival kicks off tomorrow in the Quartier des Spectacles, bringing the world's biggest comedy lineup to Montreal's streets and theaters, a must-see for anyone needing a good laugh this summer. Finally, the Richard Avedon Immortal exhibition opens at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, featuring 100 iconic portraits that capture the spirit of the 20th century. And now here's Jason with sports.
Here's the latest on Montreal's teams and leg moves this week. Defenseman Arbor Exekej is reportedly attracting attention from multiple NHL clubs as the Canadiens weigh their offseason options. Habs' eyes on the prize reports. The league-wide interest underscores his rising profile, though no offers have been confirmed at this stage. Substitute forward Chloe Minas converted a penalty in the 77th minute, securing a 1-0 victory for the Montreal Roses over the Halifax Tides in Northern Super League action on Sunday, CBC Sports Soccer notes. The narrow win keeps the Roses competitive in the league standings. The Vancouver Canucks have acquired forward Brendan Gallagher from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for future considerations, CBC Sports NHL reports. The move reshapes Montreal's forward depth heading into the offseason, though the exact return remains unspecified.
Steve's Music Store on St. Laurent in the Plateau has been a fixture for generations of Montreal musicians. For 61 years, the family-run shop stocked everything from vintage guitars to drum kits, offering a place where beginners could try a saxophone and seasoned artists could hunt rare pedals. This week, the last location closed its doors, ending a beloved chapter after earlier stores shuttered earlier this year. The loss hits the neighborhood hard. Local bands will miss the familiar bell and the friendly advice that helped launch countless gigs. Steve's was more than a retailer, it was a gathering spot that kept Montreal's music scene humming, reminding us that community lives in the places we share. And now a heartfelt look at Steve's Music Store, ending a 61-year legacy as it closes its final door for good.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on GMNA for the local Sunset Montreal's evening newscast.
Nearly 100 dogs, cats and small animals are awaiting new families at a no-fee adoption day this Sunday at the Montreal SPCA on Jean Talon West in St. Laurent. It's a chance for the community to give these pets a fresh start. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks CJ Waterhouse. The camera pans across the bright, tiled lobby of the Montreal SPCA on Jean Talon West, where sunlight filters through large windows onto rows of polished kennels and cat condos. Volunteers in navy shirts greet each visitor, their voices mingling with soft purrs and the occasional bark of a hopeful dog. Over 40 cats lounge on heated pads, their eyes tracking every passerby, while 17 dogs of all sizes wag their tails, some perched on a red carpet that leads to the adoption desk. In a corner, 25 rabbits hop between straw beds and dozens of small critters, hamsters, guinea pigs, a lone parakeet peek from their habitats, each already spayed, microchipped, and vaccinated. The event runs from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and there is no adoption fee, a rare gift for families seeking a companion. This free adoption day turns a bustling shelter into a hopeful marketplace where each animal waits for a forever home. Every wagging tail and curious whisker here represents a second chance for a family to grow. Carl Dumont virtually at Montreal SPCA.
At the end of the airport's terminal, where the echo of rolling suitcases meets the hum of new steel beams, a crew of local tradespeople is putting the finishing touches on a bright mural that stretches across the renovation wall. The scene blends hard hats and watercolor, as volunteers from a nearby community center hand out croissants and coffee to the workers, turning a construction site into a morning market. Over the past few weeks, the project dubbed Survivor YUL has invited passengers to join simple challenges, spotting hidden symbols in the artwork, sharing a smile with a crew member, and the response has been a cascade of laughter that ripples through the concourse. The real payoff arrived yesterday when the family lounge opened its doors, complete with a playful reading nook and a wall of local artwork that tells the story of Montreal's neighborhoods. Travelers left the space with a sense that the airport is more than a transit point. It's a place where the city's heart is being rebuilt, one brushstroke at a time. That's a reminder that even in the busiest places, community can find its own runway.
On a morning at Montreal Pierre Elliott Trudeau International Airport, a line of bright orange Air Canada shuttle buses rolled into the private entrance off the autoroute, greeting a mix of business travelers, families and students waiting on the curb. The service, launched this week, is staffed by drivers who know the express lanes by heart, cutting the usual 15-minute drive to the terminal down to under 10. One passenger, a mother with 2 toddlers, watched as the bus glided past traffic snarls, the children's faces lighting up at the sight of oversized luggage racks that promise space for strollers and sports equipment alike. Inside, the driver announced the next stop with a calm, "Next, Terminal A please," and the cabin filled with the soft hum of conversation, and the occasional chuckle when a child pretended the bus was a train. By the time the shuttle pulled into the terminal, the group of passengers disembarked with a collective sigh of relief, grateful for the extra minutes reclaimed for coffee, a quick email, or a final hug before boarding. For many Montrealers, a smoother journey to the world begins right here.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us on the lunch break. Today's discovery of a hidden 390-million-year-old meteor crater reminded us how much history lies beneath our streets. We appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you more stories tomorrow at noon. See you then.